You have a math test Monday?
Oh, come on. I mean, when am I ever going to need to know math?
Well, you may need it for your career, 3 Whoppers, large fries, and a Coke.
Some of your favorite TV actors have secrets. We're not talking about small secrets. We're talking about prison time, career-ending scandals, and heartbreaking tragedies. The truth behind TV's funniest faces is way darker than you ever imagined, and the details are just unbelievable. We're counting down 20 of the most shocking stories. 1. Lori Loughlin.
Till the hot oil treatment reaches full scalp saturation, it says right here.
You look like a pan of Jiffy Pop.
Everyone remembers Aunt Becky from Full House. She was the beautiful, kind, and loving wife of Uncle Jesse. For years, Lori Loughlin was the picture of a perfect TV mom. She was a moral compass on the show, always teaching her nieces about doing the right thing. Her real life seemed perfect, too. She was successful, wealthy, and had a beautiful family. But here's the kicker. In 2019, Lori's name was suddenly all over the news, and it was not for a good reason. She was a key figure in a massive college admissions scandal. It was nicknamed Varsity Blues, and it shook Hollywood. The accusation was that Lori and her husband paid a huge amount of money, we're talking $500,000, to a crooked consultant. And why? To get their 2 daughters into the University of Southern California, a very fancy school. The thing nobody tells you is how they allegedly did it. The plan involved faking photos to make it look like their daughters were star athletes on a rowing team. They had them pose on rowing machines to create a fake athletic profile. The problem was, neither of them had ever been on a rowing team. When the story broke, it was a huge shock. At first, Lori pleaded not guilty, but the evidence was piling up. Eventually, she had to face the music and pleaded guilty. She was sentenced to 2 months in federal prison. It was a stunning sight to see the woman who played Aunt Becky, one of America's favorite moms, trading her Bel Air life for a prison uniform. It's a wild story of how far some people will go for status, but as shocking as prison time is, our next star faced a private battle that almost cost her life. 2. Tracy Gold.
Now, Jason, don't do anything foolish.
Maggie, do I look like I'm about to do something foolish?
If you grew up in the 80s, you absolutely knew Tracy Gold. She played Carol Seaver on the hit show Growing Pains. She was the super smart straight-A student of the Seaver family. She was a role model for many young girls, the brainy and reliable older sister. On screen, her biggest problems were homework and dealing with her goofy brother Mike. But behind the scenes, Tracy was fighting a terrible hidden battle. What many overlooked was that the pressure of being on TV, combined with cruel jokes about her weight from people in the industry, had a terrible effect on her. You see, she was on a hit show, but she was also a teenager, and she was deeply unhappy with her body. Starting when she was just 12 years old, she began to struggle with anorexia. This is a very serious eating disorder where a person basically starves themselves. As the show got more and more popular, her private problem got worse and worse. It's hard to believe, but by 1992, her weight dropped to a frightening 79 pounds. To put it mildly, she was dangerously ill. Her organs were beginning to fail. It got so bad she had to be hospitalized. She even missed episodes of the show while she was getting treatment. It was a long, hard road, but she thankfully recovered. She later shared her story in a book and a movie to help others who were struggling. It's a scary reminder that the smiling faces on TV might be hiding a lot of pain. Tracy's battle was with her own health. But our next child star faced a different kind of challenge, losing every single thing he ever earned. 3. Jerry Superan.
Just drop those in the sink, Vicki.
Okay, is that everything?
Remember the show Small Wonder? It was a very 80s sitcom about a family who had a robot daughter named Vicki. She was super strong, super fast, and talked in a flat, funny voice. The older brother was Jamie Lawson, played by Jerry Superan, He was the classic 80s kid actor, always getting into trouble and trying to hide his robot sister's secret. You'd think being the star of a hit show that ran for 4 years would set you up for life, right? Well, not for Jerry. His story is one of the saddest and most shocking in Hollywood. When the show ended, his life started to unravel. He claimed that his entire trust fund, all the money he earned as a child star, was taken. He said it was a combination of fraud and a bad relationship with an advisor. He was left with nothing. The years that followed were incredibly tough. Believe it or not, the kid everyone saw on TV ended up homeless. He admitted in interviews that he had spent time sleeping under bridges in California. From a TV star with his own show to having no home at all. It's a shocking fall. He later tried to get his life back, working regular jobs, but he never got his fortune back. He even said he reached out to his former TV co-stars for help, but got no response. It's a dark story about what can happen to child stars after the spotlight fades. Losing your money is terrible, but our next star lost her job and her entire career because of a dark personal habit. 4. Lauren Tues.
How come we aren't jogging?
The Love Boat was one of the happiest shows on TV. It was all about romance, comedy, and adventure on the high seas. Every week, new guest stars would come aboard and find love. A smiling face that greeted everyone was the cruise director, Julie McCoy, played by Lauren Tues. She was bubbly, friendly, and the face of the show. She was on the show for 7 years and became a huge star. But what many people didn't know was that Lauren was struggling with a serious personal demon. She had developed a powerful dependence on harmful substances. Specifically, she had a very bad problem with cocaine. In the high-flying world of 1980s Hollywood, this was unfortunately not uncommon. But her habit grew and grew. It started to affect her work in a major way. She became erratic. She would forget her lines. Her behavior was all over the place. The producers tried to be patient, but in 1984, they had enough. She was fired from the show. To put it mildly, her career was over in an instant. She was blacklisted from Hollywood for years. It was a stunning fall from grace for one of TV's most beloved and cheerful personalities. She eventually got her life back on track, but it took a long, long time to overcome the scandal. Another Full House star had a similar struggle, but her story happened long after the show ended and was, in some ways, even more shocking. 5. Jodie Sweetin.
Steph, I need to talk to you. My sister's here. Can I put you on hold? Hello? Hello? How rude.
We go back to Full House, but this time we're talking about the middle sister, Stephanie Tanner. Played by Jodie Sweetin, she was the sassy, funny kid who grew up in front of our eyes. Her famous line, "How rude," became a national catchphrase. She was the sweet, innocent girl next door type. But the thing nobody tells you is that growing up on TV can be incredibly hard. When the show ended in 1995, Jodie was a teenager and had to find her way in the normal world. It was a tough adjustment. She went to college, got married, and tried to live a normal life. But she was hiding a huge secret. In her early 20s, she spiraled into a very dark place. She developed a serious dependence on methamphetamine. This is not a party substance. It's a very dangerous and destructive one. She wrote all about it in her memoir. She described being so lost that she would do things that are shocking to read. She would show up to movie premieres high. She even gave a speech at a college while she was under the influence. The scariest part? She admitted to driving with her own baby daughter in the car while she was in this state. It was a terrifying rock bottom. Thankfully, she got into rehab in 2008 and got clean. She's been open about her recovery ever since, and even returned to her famous role in the Fuller House reboot. But her journey from how rude to that dark place is chilling. Her TV dad, Bob Saget, was a clean-cut family man on TV, but the real man was famous for something very different. Oh wait, that's not on the list. Let's move to a different TV kid. 6. Fred Savage. The Wonder Years was a show that defined a generation. It was the story of Kevin Arnold, a regular kid growing up in the 1960s. Fred Savage, who played Kevin, was the heart of the show. He was relatable, funny, and everyone saw themselves in him. He was the ultimate good kid. After the show, he grew up and became a successful director and producer, working on many other hit comedies. He seemed to be one of the few child stars who made it out perfectly fine. But in recent years, a much darker story has come out. It turns out there were allegations of misconduct against him, not just recently, but all the way back on the set of the original Wonder Years. A costume designer on the 80s show sued him for inappropriate behavior when he was just 16. That case was settled. But then it happened again. In 2018, an actress on his show, The Grinder, accused him of inappropriate actions and creating a hostile environment. The biggest bombshell dropped in 2022. Fred was working as a director and producer on the reboot of The Wonder Years. He was suddenly fired. Insiders reported it was after an investigation into multiple complaints of inappropriate conduct. To put it mildly, where there was smoke, there seemed to be a lot of fire. The good kid Kevin Arnold had a reputation that was anything but wonderful. Bad behavior is one thing, but our next star, one of the biggest TV dads in history, was accused of being a monster. 7. Bill Cosby.
I'd like to settle down with someone like you.
Really? What am I like?
You're smart, you make a lot of money, and you look good for your age.
For decades, Bill Cosby wasn't just a comedian. He was America's dad. As Dr. Cliff Huxtable on The Cosby Show, he was the perfect father. He was warm, funny, wise, and his show was a cultural landmark. He sold Jell-O pudding, wrote books on fatherhood, and was one of the most trusted people in the country. But behind that friendly smile and a colorful sweater, a horrible secret was hiding. For years, rumors had swirled, but in 2014, the dam broke. A comedian named Hannibal Buress mentioned the accusations in his stand-up act, and it went viral. Suddenly, women started coming forward, and then more and more and more. In total, over 60 women accused Bill Cosby of terrible things. They told stories that all sounded chillingly similar. They said he had given them substances to make them groggy, and then took advantage of them. It was a pattern of behavior that they said went back decades. The man who played America's dad was being called a predator. In 2018, he was put on trial for assaulting a woman named Andrea Constand. He was found guilty of drugging and assaulting her. He was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in state prison. A man who was once the most beloved person on TV was now a convicted criminal. He served 3 years before his conviction was overturned on a legal technicality, but his reputation was gone forever. It's a story that is hard to even believe. But another TV star revealed a family secret that is just as disturbing. 8. Mackenzie Phillips.
You seriously think I'm worried about sex? Now, why would you think that? Well, it's gotta be. It always is with old people.
Mackenzie Phillips was a huge star in the 1970s hit One Day at a Time. She played Julie Cooper, the rebellious, wisecracking older daughter. The show was a massive success, and she was a bona fide TV star. Her father was also famous. He was John Phillips, the leader of the hit music group The Mamas and the Papas. On the outside, they looked like a cool rock and roll Hollywood family. But the reality was a complete nightmare. Mackenzie struggled with substance dependency for years, getting her fired from the show. But that wasn't the darkest secret. Years later, in 2009, she wrote a shocking memoir called High on Arrival. In the book, she revealed something that left the world speechless. She claimed that she had been in a long-term, deeply inappropriate physical relationship with her own father. She said it began when she was 19 after a night of heavy substance use and continued for a decade. She described a life that was so twisted and dark, it's hard to even imagine. It was a story of terrible boundaries being crossed, all hidden behind the glamour of Hollywood. It's one of the most disturbing and heartbreaking stories to ever come from a beloved TV star. Her co-star on the show also had his own struggles, but our next star, from a different beloved sitcom, also had a long battle with his own demons. 9. Kelsey Grammer.
It's my patients that have caused this distress. Well, think of it. Day after day, miserable people coming into your office and pouring out their litany of depression and anxiety. The only way my situation could be any worse is if I actually listened to them.
We all know Kelsey Grammer as Dr. Fraser Crane. He played the snobby, lovable psychiatrist on Cheers for years and then on his own massively successful spin-off, Frasier. For over 20 years, he was one of the most celebrated and highest-paid actors on television. He seemed sophisticated, smart, and totally put together. But Kelsey Grammer's real life has been filled with unbelievable tragedy. When he was just 13, his father was shot and passed away. A few years later, his younger sister was brutally abducted and murdered. Then, his 2 half-brothers passed away in a scuba diving accident. His life was marked by loss. Perhaps because of this, Kelsey battled serious personal demons for decades. While he was on Cheers, he was struggling with a powerful dependence on alcohol and cocaine. He had multiple run-ins with the law for driving under the influence. In 1990, he even served jail time for it. His troubles didn't stop there. In 1996, while he was the star of Frasier, he crashed his Dodge Viper sports car while under the influence. The car flipped over completely. He was lucky to walk away. He finally checked into a rehab facility and managed to get his life on track. It's a miracle he was able to deliver such a brilliant comedy performance while his personal life was in such turmoil. Kelsey got in trouble behind the wheel. Our next star got in trouble for what he allegedly did at home. 10. Rick Schroeder.
And to give you something to do while you read your paper, you can eat a sandwich made from your favorite meat. Fresh, too. Last week, this was a pig in Naples.
In the 1980s, Rick Schroeder was the biggest child star in the world. As Ricky Stratton on Silver Spoons, he was the cute, blonde-haired kid who lived in a mansion with his rich dad. He had video games and a train in his living room. Every kid wanted to be him. He was a teen heartthrob and a total 80s icon. He grew up and tried to move into more serious acting roles like on the tough cop show NYPD Blue. He worked hard to change his child star image. But in 2019, his name hit the headlines for all the wrong reasons. He was arrested not once, but twice in a single month. The charge? Domestic issues. Police were called to his home for a physical argument with his girlfriend. The first time, he was arrested and released on bail. But just 30 days later, it happened again. Police were called back to his home for the exact same reason. He was arrested a second time on suspicion of causing physical harm. To put it mildly, it was a very bad look. The man who was once America's most lovable rich kid was now in a mugshot for alleged violence at home. The charges were later dropped, but the damage to his reputation was done. It was a shocking turn for the kid from Silver Spoons. A mugshot is bad. But our next TV dad was caught on video in a scandal that was so much more bizarre. 11. Max Wright.
I really appreciate the way you've been putting up with me.
You can't help it. You're a man.
I'll just ignore that.
ALF was a giant 80s hit. It was about a furry, wisecracking alien who crash-landed in the garage of a typical suburban family, the Tanners. The dad who had to put up with all of ALF's antics was Willie Tanner. He was played by actor Max Wright. He was the perfect flustered, kind-hearted, and patient father figure. But after the show ended in 1990, Max Wright's life took a very dark and sad turn. First, in 1995, he was diagnosed with lymphoma, a serious form of cancer. He battled it for years, and it took a toll on him. But that wasn't the most shocking part. What many people remember is a scandalous video that surfaced in 2001. A major tabloid paper published images from a video that allegedly showed Max Wright engaging in very reckless and self-destructive behavior. The video reportedly showed him with harmful substances and in a very compromising situation with two homeless men. It was a massive scandal. The man who played the clean-cut TV dad was now associated with a very seedy and dark story. He also had multiple run-ins with the law for driving under the influence. It was a sad and shocking spiral for an actor who had brought so much joy to families. A public scandal is one thing, but our next star suffered a heartbreaking personal betrayal that played out in the public eye. 12. Mary Louise Parker. Mary Louise Parker is a famous actress known for her quirky and brilliant roles, especially as the pot-dealing suburban mom on the hit show Weeds. She's known for her wit and talent, but one of the most shocking moments of her life happened just before she landed that star-making role. In 2003, she was in a happy long-term relationship with actor Billy Crudup. They had been together for 8 years. They were a famous Hollywood couple, and at 39, Mary Louise was 7 months pregnant with their first child. And then the unthinkable happened. Billy Crudup left her. He didn't just leave her, he left her for another actress, Claire Danes, who he had been filming a movie with. To be abandoned by your partner of 8 years is heartbreaking. To be abandoned while you are 7 months pregnant with his child is a level of emotional distress that is hard to imagine. She was left to face the birth of her son all alone. In her memoir, she wrote a chapter as a letter to the taxi driver who was kind to her while she was pregnant, alone and crying. It was a moment of profound public humiliation and private pain. She, of course, went on to have a wonderful career and is a devoted mother, but it's a shocking story of betrayal. Being abandoned is terrible. But our next star lost control of her own life so completely that the government had to step in. 13. Amanda Bynes. In the late 90s and early 2000s, Amanda Bynes was a comedy queen. She was a kid star on Nickelodeon's All That and The Amanda Show. She was hilarious, energetic, and had amazing comic timing. She grew up and starred in hit movies like She's the Man and the sitcom What I Like About You. She was on track to be one of the biggest stars of her generation. Then, around 2012, things started to get weird. Her behavior became very erratic. She started posting bizarre things online. She was arrested for driving under the influence. Then she was arrested for a hit and run. Then she was arrested again, but the most frightening moment came in 2013. She was found in a stranger's neighborhood in California. She had set a small fire in their driveway. When police found her, she was not making any sense. It was clear she was in the middle of a severe mental health crisis. Her parents had to step in. They went to court, and Amanda was placed under a conservatorship, much like Britney Spears. This meant her parents were in complete control of her life, her finances, and her medical decisions. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. For 9 years, the girl who was famous for being so funny and in control was not legally in control of her own life. Thankfully, the conservatorship ended in 2022, and she is working on her recovery. Amanda had a long medical journey, but our next star had a single terrifying accident that almost ended her career and her leg. 14. Kaylee Cuoco.
Woman, you are playing with forces beyond your ken.
Yeah, well, your Ken can kiss my Barbie.
For 12 seasons, Kaylee Cuoco was the star of The Big Bang Theory, one of the most watched TV shows in the world. As Penny, she was the funny, charming, and relatable center of the show. She reportedly earned $1 million per episode. Her life seemed charmed. But in 2010, during the show's 3rd season, a freak accident almost changed everything. Kaylee is an experienced equestrian. She loves riding horses. One day, she was at a ranch for a riding lesson. She was on her horse when, for some reason, the horse got spooked. It reared back and threw her to the ground. That was bad enough, But then the horse, a massive animal weighing over 1,000 pounds, tried to jump over her. It missed. Its hoof landed directly on her leg. The injury was not a simple break. It was a complete disaster. When she got to the hospital, the doctors saw the damage. Her leg bones were completely shattered. To put it mildly, it was a mess. The doctor told her, "We're not sure, but you might be coming out of this with one less foot." They were seriously considering amputation. She had to have emergency surgery, where they put 2 giant 14-inch steel bars in her leg to hold the bones together. Miraculously, they saved her leg, and she only missed 2 episodes of the show. A close call is scary. But what if you couldn't even remember your own hit show? That's what happened to our next star. 15. Frankie Muniz.
Family, we should have a family portrait.
Well, Francis isn't here.
Well, I'm not gonna cough up $200 to fly him in for one silly picture. Where's Dewey? Dewey, get out of there. That's not your family.
Malcolm in the Middle was one of the best and funniest sitcoms of the 2000s. The star was Frankie Muniz, who played Malcolm, the boy genius stuck in a crazy, dysfunctional family. He was the face of the show, nominated for Emmy Awards, and was one of the most famous teenagers on the planet. He starred on the show for 6 years, from 2000 to 2006. Those 151 episodes are a classic part of TV history. But here's the truly shocking part. Frankie Muniz barely remembers any of it. In 2017, he revealed that he suffers from severe memory loss. He's had a series of 9 concussions in his life, starting from his days playing sports as a kid. He also says he's had multiple mini-strokes, or TIAs. The result is that huge chunks of his life are just gone. He said in an interview that he has almost no memory of filming Malcolm in the Middle. He's watched episodes and he says it's like watching someone else. He doesn't remember the experiences or the trips. His girlfriend, now his wife, has to write down a diary of all the things they do together so he can read it later and remember his own life. It's a truly bizarre and sad condition for someone whose most famous years are a blank space. Frankie's issue is physical. Our next star's battle was all in his head, even as his show was the biggest comedy on Earth. 16. Rainn Wilson.
Does the skin look red and swollen?
That's what she said.
That's my joke. Damn it, Dwight.
To millions of fans, he is Dwight Schrute from The Office. He's the beat-farming, Bears Beats Battlestar Galactica. Loving, completely absurd, and hilarious paper salesman. Rainn Wilson created one of the most iconic and funny characters in TV history. The show was a massive success and made him a household name. You would think that being on a show that popular, surrounded by a cast that loved each other, would be the happiest time of his life. But what many people don't know is that Rainn Wilson was struggling deeply. He revealed in interviews that during the height of the show's popularity, he was battling deep depression and anxiety. He said he would be on set, filming these classic funny scenes, and he would feel totally miserable and unhappy. He said he was thinking, "I'm on a hit show, I'm rich, I'm famous, why am I not happy?" He explained that it was rooted in childhood trauma from a difficult upbringing. He spent years in therapy working through it, all while playing one of the funniest characters on TV. It's a powerful reminder that success and fame don't mean anything if you are not healthy on the inside. He said he felt like a neurotic, discontented, anxious, and sad person, all while the world saw him as the hilarious Dwight. Rainn's battle was mental. Our next star has faced 2 devastating physical health battles, one after the other. 17. Christina Applegate.
What's the first derivative of kinetic energy with respect to velocity?
I don't know. What goes quack?
Christina Applegate has been making us laugh for decades. She was the rebellious daughter, Kelly Bundy, on Married with Children. She was the star of Samantha Who and the hilarious Anchorman movies. Most recently, she starred in the critically acclaimed dark comedy Dead to Me. She is a true comedy legend. but her life has been hit with one heartbreaking health crisis after another. In 2008, at the age of just 36, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Because she carried a specific gene that put her at high risk, she made the brave and difficult decision to have a double mastectomy, removing both breasts to prevent the cancer from ever coming back. She recovered and went on with her career. But then, in 2021, while she was filming the final season of Dead to Me, she got another devastating diagnosis. She was told she had multiple sclerosis, or MS. This is a disease of the nervous system that can affect your ability to walk, your balance, and your senses. She was forced to pause acting. She said it's been an incredibly hard road, and she now has to use a cane to walk. To be hit with cancer, and then just over a decade later, to be hit with an incurable neurological disease is a level of bad luck that is truly shocking and unfair for someone who has given us so many laughs. Christina's career was paused by illness. Our next star's career was ended by his own bad behavior. 18. Jeffrey Tambor. Jeffrey Tambor is one of the most respected and famous funny face actors in Hollywood. For years, he was the hilarious and bumbling sidekick Hank Kingsley on The Larry Sanders Show. Then he became even more famous as George Bluth Sr., the corrupt and crazy patriarch of the Bluth family on Arrested Development. He was beloved. He then went on to star in the show Transparent, where he played a transgender woman. He won 2 Emmy Awards for the role and was praised for his performance. His career was at its peak. Then, in 2018, it all came crashing down. He was fired from his own show, Transparent. The reason? Serious accusations of misconduct. 2 different transgender women who worked on the show, one his former assistant and one an actress, accused him of inappropriate behavior and crossing major boundaries. The network, Amazon, launched a full investigation. Tambor denied the claims, saying he was volatile and difficult, but not a predator. But the investigation found enough evidence to fire him from the show. In an instant, his award-winning career was over in disgrace. The man who was once a comedy icon became an outcast. He wasn't the only TV star to face these kinds of allegations. Our next actor, famous for playing a loud-mouthed agent, had a similar fall. 19. Jeremy Piven.
I'm going to be there in 90 seconds, find out who covers Warner's. If all this is not taken care of, I will choke you out with a strap on.
See you when I get here. Potty mouth.
For 8 seasons on the hit show Entourage, Jeremy Piven played Ari Gold. He was a fast-talking, screaming, and wildly inappropriate Hollywood super agent. He was hilarious, offensive, and the breakout star of the show, winning 3 Emmy Awards for the role. He was on top of the world. But in 2017, as the Me Too movement was gaining steam, Jeremy Piven's name started to come up. One actress accused him of an inappropriate encounter years ago. Then another came forward, and another. Soon there was a flood of allegations against him, with some stories spanning decades. Women accused him of a range of inappropriate actions, from aggressive behavior to exposing himself at parties to unwanted physical advances. It was a pattern of behavior that sounded a lot like the character he played, Ari Gold, but this was real life. Piven denied all the allegations. He even took a lie detector test to try and prove his innocence. But the damage was done. His TV show Wisdom of the Crowd was canceled. He was cut from other projects. His career, which was once so bright, stalled completely. The man who was famous for playing a toxic character was now, in the public's mind, a toxic person himself. His career was built on being loud. Our final star's career was built on her childhood, a childhood she says was a complete nightmare. 20. Jeanette McCurdy.
Is that you in there?
Yeah, it's me.
Oh my gosh, the bear ate Freddy. That bear! Oh!
Never do that again!
You're not the boss of me.
Jeanette McCurdy was the co-star of the massive Nickelodeon hit iCarly. She played Sam Puckett, the tough, funny, and food-loving best friend to Carly. She was a huge kid star, beloved by millions. She even got her own spin-off show, Sam and Cat. But when she grew up, she did something shocking. She quit acting. She said she was ashamed and unfulfilled by the roles she played. Fans were confused. Why would someone so successful just walk away? In 2022, she released a memoir with a title that said it all, I'm Glad My Mom Died. The book was a bombshell. It revealed that her entire childhood, her entire acting career, was a nightmare orchestrated by her abusive and controlling mother. She said her mom forced her into acting when she was 6 years old. Her mom was obsessed with her daughter's weight and introduced her to an eating disorder, anorexia, when she was just 11. Her mom would perform invasive physical exams on her until she was 17. Jeanette wrote that her entire life was about pleasing her mom, and she hated every minute of it. When her mom passed away from cancer, she finally felt free. It's a horrifying, tragic story hidden behind one of the most popular kids' comedy shows ever made.